I'm super excited to bring to you the AIA Austin Homes Tour for 2025. It's on the weekend of the 25th and the 26th of October. If you're coming to Austin or you live in Austin and you love architecture, this is a tour you shouldn't miss. Now, if you want to listen to this series on the podcast or watch it on YouTube, please do, and understand that I have each of the architects presenting the homes that they have on the tour this year. So there's 10 architects, plus I have Rob Gomez and Ingrid Spencer, who are also commenting on these homes. Now, Rob has photographed every one of them, and Ingrid is the director of the AIA Austin. These two are super knowledgeable and add really beautiful insight to what these homes are about from observers who aren't architects. So please tune in, listen, ask comments, and book a ticket and come on tour and see each of these homes over the weekend, 25th, 26th of October 2025. Look forward to seeing you there. We're going to discover Travis Heights residence. Now, Travis Young and his name in the neighborhood are nicely matched here, I know, but Travis Young from Momentum Studios designed an incredible home here. This in a historic district, and it is really sympathetic to that historic district as well. And there's some beautiful stories around how it's been accepted in the neighborhood. I'm not going to get too much more into that. First of all, I want Travis to tell us a little bit about him and Momentum Studio. Travis, welcome to the show, and I'm so excited for the homes tour and people coming and seeing this home with you. You know, you'll be there.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Adrian. Well, let's see. I would say that I started out going to Arizona State University for my undergrad degree, and it was in electrical engineering. And no one in my family had completed a college degree, and so I was the first one. And every elective that I could take was in the art department. I made ceramics when I was in high school. I liked watercolor. I loved painting and drawing. And so I'd go do the electrical engineering stuff, and it was just awful. And then it was just a huge classes. They're just trying to get rid of everybody, and people. Anyway,
I'm hearing you.
Every moment at the art school, and at Arizona State University, the College of Architecture was right adjacent to the College of Fine Arts. And I walked into their gallery. They had a gallery of work inside the main lobby there of that building. It was real easy to go into. And I saw these amazing drawings that were just gorgeous, and of different elevations and perspective drawings and hand drawing.
Yeah.
And they were colorful, and they were beautiful pieces of art just as they were. And then there was models. Just that was really interesting to me, the models. So I realized I said, hey, the only architect I knew was the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, this might be something where my parents would be okay with me doing this. So it's kind of like engineering, but it's also kind of like art, So I went and talked to the advisor there, and they said, oh yeah, it's great. I said, how much money can you make as an architect? Because I got to tell this to my parents. I'm going to switch my major.
And they said none.
They were lied. They told me, oh, we got graduates getting out with this much a year, and no problem, And I remember after getting into the program, which was really hard at Arizona State, I have a 4+2 program, and they only took like 50 kids a year into the upper division part of the program. And I remember getting into it, and there was a kid that had gotten through their Master of Architecture degree, and his first job offer was for $13,500 a year. I was like, what? He was like, it's a privilege to go work for this particular architect. So, yeah. Anyway.
And then you realized that he wasn't underpaid.
Well, like, wow. I put myself through school framing houses. So I was a framing apprentice, and I was working out in the heat in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got paid $7 an hour. at the first firm I went to, and it was like, man, I'm in the air conditioning. This ain't too bad, you know. So yeah, it wasn't so bad to be that, in that price.
Oh, that's
But anyway,
classic.
that's how it kind of got started. And I stayed and worked in Scottsdale for a year or two, and then I came and decided to go to graduate school at UT and got stuck here in Austin.
Yeah, what an awful place to be stuck in Austin.
Well, right now it's kind of hot and humid out,
Actually,
but
as
when I
I've been,
first came in '91, it was an amazing place. Like to me, it was like it's summertime when the school was out, when university was out.
mm,
It was like this is my town.
mm,
We could go to any club, any kind of bar, any restaurant, no wait,
mm.
and now it's a totally different place.
Yeah,
The population.
it's grown up as a city, hasn't it? Like I know in
Yeah.
the past 10 years that I've traveled there so regularly every year, and just seeing what has happened in 10 years in Austin. But it's still
We got to
culturally
play it
got a
up.
beautiful mood. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we still
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. My first trip ever to Austin was back 30 something years ago. Was my first ever trip to Austin, and I went there from Dallas, and I was staying with some friends in Dallas. My girlfriend's brother-in-law and sister, and we went and stayed there, and we did a bit of touring around Texas as well. And he was studying at Dallas Theological Seminary, and that was my sort of like first ever. I landed in, wasn't my first time ever in America, but I landed in Los Angeles, and then pretty much went straight to Texas, and that was my baptism of Texas, was Dallas, and then going to the hill country and doing these things. But I remember going to
Yeah.
Austin, and it was like a little country town with an amazing capital. It was, yeah, it
Oh yeah.
was very, very different from today. And that was, yeah, as I say, that was my first experience. But it's still got such great flavor and it's such a neat city. Everybody I've recorded so far for this series has told me about how hot it is and humid it is this summer. Like it's been a
Don't come here.
constant.
Don't move here. This summer has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we had so much rain, it shifted from May to June for some reason. I mean, we haven't had a bunch of 100-degree days. I mean, there is much worse summers.
Mm.
I mean, it could still happen. It could still happen
Oh yeah,
here
we're a
all
long way
through
from
summer.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
So in
yeah. But
October,
it's not too bad.
when we've got the homes tour, usually the weather can either be hot or cool. It could flip either way. Like you're right on that thing.
Yeah,
I've been there when it's been, 100 degrees, and I've been there when it's been like, I don't know, maybe 40 degrees. At that same
yeah.
time of year, it can go either
I have
way.
to tell a story. I know
Yeah.
I know we're recording. I tell you a story
Yeah, for
real quick.
sure.
I used to live in the north part of the university, and I rode my bike every day to school.
Yep.
So I'm riding south in the morning, 9 o'clock, and the wind is blowing in my face, and it's 80 degrees, and it's 80% humidity, and I'm soaked by the time I get to class, and I go in, and this is like 9 a.m. in the morning, and I'm in the buildings, for the
Yep.
next series of courses. I never go outside, and then at like 1 o'clock, I'm done and I'm going to ride my bike north. And I get out and God, wind is blowing from the north and it's cold
Yeah.
and it's like 60 degrees. And as I'm riding home, it starts to hail on me. So I'm riding home. I rode into the wind to go
Oh,
to university and I rode into the wind in the afternoon. And it was colder in the afternoon, which was really rare having come from Arizona. This
oh
diurnal
yeah,
shift
of
is very.
course. Yeah.
So I learned this is where they say in Austin, there came a norther.
Oh, really? I've
And that
never
was my
heard
first
that.
introduction. There came a norther. And that's what happens. And it happened in October usually.
I love that. I'm
Um,
writing it down. I love it. There, well, that's been my experience of Austin. Has been, like all these years. I go when you're packing clothes for it from coming from Australia because I'm in my sort of summer months. The start of it's getting hot
mhm.
and humid. Yeah, you could get hot or you could get cold. You've got to pack something for both climates. And then housing wise, I think that's another really interesting thing that happens there it's quite a big shift. And so houses have to be able to cope with this big shift in temperature. And
Oh
you know,
yeah.
that's a part of it. So with the Travis Heights residents, can you take me through the brief for this job? And I know because we chatted before that, it was a really collaborative brief. There was more than one finger in the pie, and but you had to make it and bake it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, this project, I was brought into this project by the builder,
Oh, okay.
Adam Lucas with ARLucas Construction. He was a personal friend of the property owner who'd lived there for 5, 6 years with his partner. They'd lived in this house. And I was brought in because the lot is fairly small. It's an inner city lot. It has big trees on it. And I had worked with Adam on some other projects, and he thought I would be a good fit. And the owner is a long time Austinite. His mother is a very well-known midwife and nurse in town, and delivered who knows, like everybody at one point.
Everybody you've ever met.
So yeah, he told me that he'd go out with his mom. I posted a picture of his mom and him in front of this house. And it was so surprising how many people popped in and said, "Hey, she was my midwife, or she was our nurse."
Yeah.
He's an Austinite, and so he's also a civil engineer, and it was just kind of a good. We just had a good feeling amongst ourselves, and I knew generally what the problems were. But when I looked at the site, one of the big ones was this heritage tree, which is about a 32-inch diameter live oak, right, kind of in the middle of the property. The other thing that struck me was the context. This is on Travis Heights Boulevard, which is a historic neighborhood. There's several historic districts. This particular site the Landmark Commission has tried to make it a historic district, an official one, but it's not. However, I knew, we were talking about demolishing a house, and you have to go to Landmark Commission to do so and get approval. And there's a lot of this, can't you save it? And that's just the way it is. I mean, it's a fight.
Yeah.
And so the brief was really, we want a forever home.
Love
We want
it.
a home that we can stay in and live in as a generational home. We love this location. We love this tree. And it'd be nice to have a place for my cars, and have a place for me to work from home, and have a place for my in-laws to come stay. And so there was a few of these types of needs. And hey, I got a view. I think I've got a view of downtown. Let's make sure we get a little glimpse of that as well. So the site certainly drove a lot of the decisions.
Yeah. And the tree, obviously.
And the tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could show that site plan.
Yeah, I would love you to. Do you want to pull that up? As you're doing that, take me kind of on that journey of we're going to arrive in this neighborhood for the homes tour. So we're going to turn up in the neighborhood, and when we turn up in the neighborhood, we are going to park on the street somewhere. Actually, I don't even know how we're going to do that in this one, but anyway, there'll be some form of parking, and then we're going to walk in, and we'll do this when we get to photos as well, but we're going to enter from, one side, and the house is going to reveal itself. And then the orientation around the tree, like that tree is on your southern side, so it's in a courtyard full of light as well, as opposed to being on your northern side. Yeah, and then this separation, and also the fact that you've got, an additional, an ADU, an additional dwelling unit as well on the property. Just the whole orientation and organization, and the master of the tree.
Yeah, yes. Well, I'll just walk through the site plan real quick, and then I'll jump
Yeah.
to the floor plan, kind of see how spaces are laid out. This of course is the street side. There's sidewalks on both sides of Travis Heights. A lot of pedestrian activity. There's a lot of the houses have these large porches that front on the street. At one point, it was a different neighborhood from the 1940s, but a lot of these homes are from that time period, including the home that was here. Having a big porch, and you can see this kind of fill material. It looks like stone. This is all the front porch,
Yeah, wow.
dedicated eastern side. And as we move through the house, this gray zone is the second floor.
Hmm.
And the back of the house over here is an alleyway. So we have an alley access, and that's where we brought the vehicles in
Hmm.
to the garage. And this tree forced us, because it's a protected tree, we had to be about 16 feet clear of the tree from the center of the tree in a circular method. We could do certain things like piers that protect roots. We cantilevered the slab for a section of the slab for the foundation. Where the master bedroom is to protect the tree roots of this tree per the City of Austin ordinance. And in the back, they have this courtyard space that's created by the two houses, as well as a pool and a little fire pit.
Nice.
I'm gonna look to the floor plan here.
One of the things with having a big tree like this, and I love the fact that Austin's so protective of these trees. I think one of the things is it creates magic, and it certainly pushes the design to be inclusive and to make use of it. Like otherwise it would get chopped down and you'd something else could be there. But it always makes you inform your design differently when you've got this big live structure that's sitting in the middle of the space. It's
Yeah, and then with live oaks in particular, they have this. I mean, it's an organic thing. So even though the code says, all right, the tree is this big, this is how much circular area, this is the circle of the radius that we have to stay clear of. Here's the one where you can do a little bit of things, and here's the stuff you gotta preserve 50% of this overall critical root zone. These are like these circular perfect geometries, but the reality is the tree doesn't necessarily follow that. So we have to map the canopy of that tree, and we also can't impact the canopy. So it's not just the root zone, but it's also the canopy. How much are you affecting? And as we go up with our two-story structures, we're impacting those. And so we actually mapping some of these major branches to preserve them. And that's why you see this real big jog that happened on the second floor, because there's limbs going through this area. And then that allows that to be a little bit taller one-story space in the master bedroom. So they can be a little bit taller, a little bit more, because the second floor is not directly
Yeah,
above that.
yeah,
There's like it's a good thing that comes out from the reality of trying to map out something that's, I mean, it's very irregular too.
yeah,
It's not like you get perfect elevation and figure out where the roots are or where the tree limbs are. They are going up and out and beyond. And
yeah, yeah.
so it was a fun problem to try to resolve three-dimensionally.
Yeah, and it's still live. I mean, it's still shifting, changing, and growing to some degree, like it's still doing its thing. Yeah.
And the live oaks are pretty resilient to the
Hmm.
impacts that we put on them.
Mm.
But I think we were having a little conversation about Hugh Randolph,
Yeah, yeah.
who's a good friend of mine, to school together. And we talked about that project where there was photographs that kind of
Hmm.
left this impression. It's the same with things like this. Let's say the tree doesn't make it in
Yeah,
50 years. It leaves an imprint.
yeah, yeah,
So it's making a mark, and so it's create. If we respect it, then the future tree can also fill that in.
yeah.
So it's interesting, this requirement that we have as a kind of codified protection of large trees in the downtown.
I think, yeah, as you say, like it leaves as it's forever home, and then it leaves an opportunity for another generation, and another tree, and another, at some point that tree will die. Yeah, I think it's fun. I think playing with nature in that way, and then also having to wrap your house around it, but then taking advantage of what that can offer and how it can really bring the tree and the home together as well. All great. All great.
So, fortunately, we had an alley, so we could have our cars parked off the alley and minimize some of the impervious cover that is on the site,
Hmm.
with drive and things like that. But the requirement, the main house itself, is about 2,700 square feet. It's a three-bedroom, two and a half bath.
Hmm.
Downstairs, we have an office that faces on the street, and this really large dedicated area to front porch, a place to sit and commute with the neighbors,
Hmm.
sitting dining, and then a kitchen. And this whole side, the northern side of the house, is this public connection from the street all the way through to a screen porch,
Yeah.
which in Texas obviously is a I love to do them. Really it's crazy how many times I've had clients thank me for fighting for the screen porch, and the ones that end up not doing the screen porch always come back and say, "We got to do the screen porch now."
Yeah.
So it's just do it the first time, okay?
Just yeah, listen carefully. Do it the first time because you're gonna love it forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the ADU is a little bit interesting as well because the city had what they had the McMansion ordinance, which we have in the city of Austin, which was to stop really huge houses from happening.
Hmm.
And that limited our floor to area ratio to 40%. And we have
Wow.
a small lot here. So they had some exemptions. They give you exemptions for garages in the rear of the property, for example. They give you an exemption for porches that are open on three sides. Those weren't counting against that 40%. But in this case, the ADU would have pushed us over the 40% maximum. And so the ADU is completely within the roof lines. And so it's as if we've taken the attic space above the garage and made that the living space, and had very critical requirements. About 50% of the space can be from 5 feet to 7 feet tall, and the other 50% can be above 7 feet tall. So you have to work within the pitches of the roof to create that space. And then that's 320 square feet that was exempted under that ordinance that we permitted this at the time. That was the requirement.
I love the gymnastics of the design. And but you're meeting the client's needs and wants, but you're playing gymnastics within the regulations and the outcomes. It's problem solving at its best. It's like it really preserves the neighborhood. It stops a McMansion. It does all those things, and yet it still solves the client's problem. Yeah, I think
And
that.
it creates these idiosyncratic moments that
Yep.
you wouldn't have designed normally on a
No.
flat straight lot. You're going to not be, it's not an impact, but when you have to conform, suddenly you go, oh, it's like this, the happy happenstance, je ne
Yeah.
sais quoi.
Yeah. 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 The
So
je ne sais quoi. I love that. Yeah.
I just wanted to talk this last little bit about the floor plan before I jump off of this. This is their real entertaining area. We have a wet bar up on the second floor that has a big sectional seat and the big TV. This is up on the second floor, and then there's this outdoor space that's above the screen porch
Hmm.
that has views to downtown, and that's where his outdoor grill is. So when he's having people over for the game, that's what's happening
I
up
like
on
it.
that second. And I'll show a picture of that here in a minute.
Yeah. When you show the pictures of the front entry, because context for this home, and you were telling me earlier, context for this home was, to work within the historic streetscape and the landscape of everything and the way it comes together. And you were saying, like neighbors, and we all know what neighbors can be like, have come and actually said thank you for what you guys have done here. And I know you said also it's really collaborative between you and the builder and the client and the neighborhood, and then getting something that actually has lifted the whole neighborhood up in the sense of it. There isn't people running past throwing rocks. There's people running past buying kisses. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And when
Well,
you've
that's a
got a
good segue.
porch, yeah, when you've got a porch out the front, the neighbors could yell abuse at you as they walk up and down down the sidewalk if they thought you'd done a horrible job. They could give you the stink eye as they went
Oh,
past, but
yeah.
they're not doing that. They're not doing that. They're going, this is part of our community and we love it. So kudos.
Now, that's a concerted effort to dedicate space to an outdoor area.
Mm,
It has to be big enough for you to actually sit there with your friends
yeah.
and to want to spend time out there and be protected. It needs to have good views of the streets so you can see your neighbors walking up and down the street. So, but that's a good segue to go to the photo, I can
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you.
do that, please.
Okay.
Yeah. You know the landscaping.
So,
When you've got the landscaping like back at that level, the front verge piece there between the road and the footpath, is that controlled by you as to how it's
no.
landscaped? No.
Well, it is landscaped by us, but it's not our property. So essentially, the sidewalk towards the curb, from the sidewalk, the backside of the sidewalk towards the curb is all city right of way.
And
So
so
these are
you've
all going to, as you
there's
plan the zero
overlays that
escape plan,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
can manage themselves. They're not, they're native to this area and they're going to be able to live out there. And if the city wanted to do something with the right of way or do some work out there, they have no obligation to protect any of that piece that's from the sidewalk forward either. So
right.
we would have, this is all just investment
But it's
received from it.
beautiful. It's beautiful and it sets up the home beautifully as well.
So again, we see this entry, this brick. I just wanted to mention that this comes from a Texas manufacturing company out of Elgin.
Yeah.
And there's obviously historic allusions here. And the brick, in fact, brick like this in similar color tone can be found in the neighborhood. And it's been interesting. You know, some people on the tour committee actually, when they came through, they're like, "Wow, we thought this maybe was a remodel."
Hmm.
So, okay. I can tell it's not, that it's a new construction. There's certainly modern elements here. And as we go to the back of the home, as the home opens up from the interior, it becomes much more contemporary and open and not following any kind of constraint. This is like a constraint as well.
Mm.
It's speaking to the context and the fabric of this street, and we want to be good neighbors here. And it's been great. It's been really positive. How many neighbors have talked positively about that we didn't we didn't put a monument to our ego here. Which is fine too, because I like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been interesting to see the response from really
Yeah.
people that are not in the design community necessarily. They're just like folks that live here.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I guess I can jump to another photo. And
One of the
I did
things,
want to
can you
mention
jump
that.
back to that one? I want to just before
Sure.
when we were looking
The
at the
front?
photo, you talked to me, yeah, you talked to me about those roof lines and about
Yeah.
using the Dutch gable and also that swoop in the roof line that you've got. These are elements that you don't necessarily see in every home, but they bring such texture and personality to this house. And there's heritage elements that are built back in from the previous home that was on the site. Yeah, give us a little bit
Yeah,
of runway on
we did
that.
that literally as well, because not only did the original house have the Dutch gable up there
Hmm.
and some more, I guess you would say, Tudor kind of references.
Yeah.
We also took when the house was taken apart, there was longleaf pine in some of the floor joists and roof joists, and we took that longleaf pine and milled it down, and it
Ah,
is utilized in the ADU in the back as the flooring as well as some trim details. So if you come on the tour, you can go back there and literally see parts of the original house that were recycled in
fantastic.
the finished trim of the accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love this in this front entrance point here. When you pull up, if you can be stand back this far from the home, is this sort of line of symmetry with those two arches, and then the square arch. I mean, it's not an arch; it's a square opening, and then just again how it frames, and thinking that. Literally from that front window, we can see to the covered porch. We can see through the house all the way, and then creating levels of stepping back and privacy and space. Yeah, I love the program that you've got for the home. And well, there's
Having
another
your
piece that,
having your
yeah,
office here on the street as well is another engagement, because you're really spending the daytime there
yeah,
and getting to watch that. And we wanted to open this up to let in that morning light, to let in that eastern light, and kind of have
mm,
it penetrate through the house.
yeah, allow a bit of it to the depth to go into the home. Yeah. Yeah, cool. You can go from that photo now. But if you're not on YouTube looking at this, jump on YouTube and have a look. There is so much to see in this, and it's such a a really beautiful looking home of its style, like yeah, it's interesting. It's cool. What do we
So
got?
this one I'll share with you, which I think is a nice
Oh yeah.
uh, counterpoint in a way. There's a lot of things going on here from an interior design standpoint, from the rugs to the curtains to the brass pieces on the curtain rod to the kind of subtle light olive green color, mint green color in the metal of door. This space, I want to just point a few things out. One, this is the second floor living area. This is the true entertainment area. This is where he brings all the friends to watch the game. Out through these doors is a roof deck that has some really nice views of downtown Austin, which is a nice amenity to
Yeah.
this location in Travis Heights. He's got his grill out there so he can do the burgers and whatnot while entertaining. And behind me is a wet bar. But I wanted to also note that the tree, you can see this limb that comes through the image, and it actually punches through this covered roofed opening. We mapped that tree limb out, and we wanted to accommodate it. It helps form the outdoor spaces. It helps impact this outdoor space, and it's ever present in all the rooms. You have many opportunities where you get to look back and go, "Oh, there's that tree again." So the
Yeah.
tree is a big character, it's a big personality that influences the house and all the spaces.
I love that. I love the tree. It's actually coming, it is part of the house. It's coming into part of the built structure. And all credit to Adam, the builder, for executing it so well as well.
Yes, I have to say, I said this before, but this is a collaborative house.
Hmm.
I I am one person in the cog of one cog in a big wheel, and that includes the interior designer, which did a spectacular job. The owner and his partner, who just fretted and fumed about all these little selections, from the furnishings to some of the art to the every fixture, every light fixture, and ARLucas with ARLucas Construction, whom luckily I've been able to work with, and now I'm actually helping them with their office.
Nice.
So it's just great to have these relationships, and it was a really amazing collaborative effort. Things that happened that I had nothing to do with, that I'm just like, wow, what a great solution. So
Mm.
all of that expertise, all of that came to play here.
Yeah. No, it feels beautiful, and it feels like, as you said, it's got that collaborative nature to it. It's not one person's monument. It's actually a couple end up owning it and living in it, but it's actually this journey of everybody's vision to make it really
Including the
come alive.
community, including the city of Austin with all their regulations,
And the live oak.
including and the oak, which I think the owner has a name for her, but we'll have to find it. I don't
Yeah,
remember
maybe we can't say what he called it. Yeah.
exactly.
What else have you got in your pictures? Have you got a picture of the backyard space? Have you got
I
anything back
don't
there? Oh, well,
I don't
what
because
about the kitchen? Because I know
yeah,
I've seen all the pictures, and the kitchen's a really beautiful space as well. Like,
yeah, I've got a good snip of that. I will tell you that I couldn't I the courtyard space is the space that I wanted documented, and I do have photos of it.
yeah,
And hopefully when you go on the tour, you'll get to go out and spend some time. I know you're going to want to jump in the pool
yeah,
and hang out by the fire pit if it's cold in October. We'll see. But hopefully that will be the big reveal
on the tour.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
we were talking before about the fact that, you feel a property, and when you come into a property, and I would say with this one in particular, you pause out there on the street and just look at how it's not constructed, but how it forms itself. And then as you go through, the big reveal that we're not going to show you yet is going to be in being there and going into that courtyard space, and from the outdoor porch across the fire pit into the pool area, and then how the ADU and the garage the tree wraps, well, the tree extends out into all of those spaces. And the construction or the house is actually wrapped around all of that and it brings it all together. But take us through the kitchen, because this kitchen, I remember when we were looking through the photos, just going, oh, yeah, it's a beautiful space. It's got a simplicity, but the way it lines up with the outdoor porch also is really fabulous. So you can imagine just living indoor, outdoor with this piece, with no bugs.
Yeah. So this is a
Yeah.
nice image by
Hmm.
Mr. Gomez, the photographer. The natural quality of the light coming into the space is great.
Yeah.
Out these doors to the left of the kitchen, these large French doors, is a screened porch. And I make the argument for the screened porch all the time. This is a great example. The client spends all their time out there every morning having their coffee and being in a bug-free space, which is open on three sides and gets nice ventilation and nice from the natural winds that flow through the courtyard space. But I just have to commend the interior designer on their selections here from the and the cabinets were all built custom by the builder, Adam, with
Yeah.
ARLucas. So they're not only the GC, but also the cabinet makers. So they do their trim work, a lot of the trim work. And I mean, I just have to applaud them on the simplicity of it,
Hmm.
the kind of the quality of the warmth of these materials, this oak. Again, we have a live oak, and then here's what oak can produce in terms of materiality for the home. And then this beautiful kind of olive green color. And if you do walk through the house, you'll note there are a few of these colors. They're not all the same. It's not all this olive green. It's a lighter mint green. There's actually some more clay
Yep.
tones upstairs. And in the ADU, there's another set of colors. So you'll see this color palette is very subtle and it changes as you move through the space. So you don't really, hopefully, if you're on the tour, you can kind of note that it is not a kind of regimented color scheme for every bit of steel be this color, every countertop be this color, for example. It's really eclectic in that way.
I think that that's one of the things that stands out for me so much in this home. And certainly, like even with that upstairs lounge and the interior decor there, it's got an eclecticness, it's got a personality. And matching the same color from one piece to the next piece to the next piece, yes, it gets done. I always think that it's I was going to say it's lazy. It's not lazy. It's each piece has its own moment. And if it can subtly play together, it's more like being in a forest or more like being in a journey, a chapter of a person's life or whatever. It's got texture and it's just those subtle shifts that engage you and it engages your subconscious and it shifts how it feels for you. It feels more um, intimate than if it's just and just stepped out. I think it's an absolutely beautiful home. I was laughing with you before because we're similar ages and we kind of go I said this is like a home that a grown up lives in and yet we're old enough to be grown ups living in this house ourselves and it's that kind of thing it it feels it's a forever home and it feels like it should be a forever home and it's got for a brand new home it's got texture and personality that's been built, just like you said, with that interior design, coloration, and those feels. It's got lots of that. I'm so excited to be in this house and actually feel this house and hear the house speak to me, hear the whole thing kind of let it tell me its story from inside because it's a brand new home. It's not from the 1940s.
It's really a struggle, I think, as architects to think about a home, how a home is going to live for 20 years, 30 years. We do think about, and that's why a tour is an odd thing. I mean, it's just an odd thing. Here you
Mm.
got people and you're bumping into people. It's not this, it's the spaces are fairly small. So I'm a little curious to see how that all plays out because there's a moment in one of the bathrooms where there was this really difficult detail for ARLucas cabinet makers to make, where they have a curved corner on the cabinet And then the countertop curves with that too. And it's just this little subtle thing. And it happens again by the fireplace in the front. There's some plaster work that was done, and it's a little subtle coping curve. And you just don't notice that when you're like, okay, I got to get to the next house. I got to walk through this
Yeah,
one. What does it
yeah,
say? And this is one of those homes that really, I think all of those little pieces add to the richness of a timed experience. Over time, they
mm,
become revealed. The light
mm.
hits them in a certain way. So those are simple things. They don't necessarily cost a lot of money, but they can have a profound effect. So hopefully people will get that. I know the owners are happy.
Yeah. Well, the owners are happy, the neighborhood's happy, and yeah, it is. It's a beautiful home, and you can imagine it being there for another 50 or 100 years and it's still being a beautiful home. And the modernness that's baked into it has made it for living for now and probably the next, 30 years. By then, the kitchen will be reconfigured or something will happen to the space. Unless they just live that long and they stay in place, and they designed the home to stay in place, or you designed the home for a stay in place as well. So their main bedroom is on the ground floor, facing out into the live oak, and even the shower space engages the live oak. Just those kinds of things. They built their house, or they wanted their home for the future, for this longevity. And ideally, at some point it's passed down or it's sold into another family that wants it for the same reason. Yeah. Great work, man.
Yep.
Really lovely.
Well, th
And thank you so much for your time. So looking forward to doing this on tour and meeting and being there really and enjoying it.
Fantastic. I look forward to it too.
So I hope you've really enjoyed that. And if you'd like to stick around for about another 5 or 10 minutes, you can hear what Rob Gomez, the photographer who took the photos of all these homes, has to say about this particular home. And he's joined by Ingrid Spencer, the director of the AIA Austin, and their comments are really fascinating how they viewed these homes, much like the public would. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed. Take care. The next house that we have, I don't want the next house. What the hell am I talking about? Travis Heights house is something really special. Now, Ingrid, you're just telling me this is a brand new house, but looks like it's been here for the 100 years. Is that why it's on the tour?
Well, it's a very special house in so many different ways, but it is interesting that it does look like a more traditional house on the tour. But it is a new house and it's pretty amazing. There's an interior element. So there's something to see in everywhere you look. It's just a very intense house. It has a beautiful accessory dwelling unit in the back too.
Yeah,
So more
right.
of that multi-generational.
And it's in the Travis Heights neighborhood, which is a very sought after neighborhood in Austin.
Yeah, the house fits in so perfectly. But then once you enter in, it opens a whole world. It's
Yeah.
just so beautiful inside.
I love what I'm seeing here, Rob, just with the colors as well as the fact that it looks quite eclectic and it looks like a life's journey in this room of moments that have been all pulled together in a beautiful artistic way. Uh, Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this was a real fun one. This one I was able to meet briefly with the architect, with Travis Young. I didn't get like as much of the whole sort of story and design idea behind it with these things you're mentioning, like very eclectic, a lot of like poppy colors and a lot of sort of cool design choices going on, more so than even in just these photos that I selected. You'll see throughout the entire house when you talk to him. But this, again, similar to what Ingrid was saying, was a very sort of, when you see it from the outside, I think you expect a certain thing, and also with it being in Travis Heights as well. But then when you walk inside, it's just like a whole whole different experience. And I think that this is, I would venture to say, probably a big reason why it was selected for this year's Homes Tour is it's kind of the only one of its kind on the tour. It's like a very different home than a lot of the other ones that you'll see, and I think it's pretty special for that. Like this is the upstairs sort of living room area. Behind me, there's a little bar area there. So this is like very much, hang out, have a drink. You have obviously the extension out there to go out in the patio, overlooking
Sudden,
the porch.
suddenly there you're in the treetops as well, like you're
Yeah,
right up in the foliage. I can
and it,
imagine this is a great little spot to sneak away to just with a couple of people and just leave the world behind and hang and be in the treetops and yeah, looks
yeah,
beautiful.
for sure. Very much has that like bit of a treehouse vibe
Mm.
there, and in the ADU as well is like also for sure that I would say for sure feels like staying in a treehouse, which is this next so that
Oh
next
wow.
image um is their ADU. So it's just right out there, sort of across from the main house. They have a pool, and then you go up these stairs, and it's this, tiny little um kind of just studio basically. They have a kitchen, they have their bathroom, and the the sleeping area, but it's just again for me how light was playing everywhere and how the just the colors, like the red steel there, and how it kind of plays with the wood, and the furniture they selected, the wood flooring. I don't know. I think this was in terms of the interior design. This was like up there for me as one of the nicest.
Often when we look at interior design, Americans dress their homes. They compared to say Australia or New Zealand, where I'm originally from, the Americans dress their homes with depth, and we've learnt to do it, but we've copied you guys, I think, in learning to do it. And these rooms feel dressed. The previous one, I'm like, I can imagine, there were three different chairs in the room and they were
Yeah,
all different in different colors. And you're kind of almost choosing your personality at that point that you're going to sit in. And here again, it's got this beautiful outdoor and we're in the trees. And then we're walking through sort of the red steel, which is probably little overtones of, Frank Lloyd Wright's Cherokee Red and these kinds of things. But they're lovely little hints to history that feels great. And this is a brand new home. This is
It is.
this is brand new. This isn't like something renovated.
Yeah, it has a lot of personality.
That's really
yeah.
cool. And Studio Momentum, um, with them, is this typical of their work?
I would say they do. Well, no, I don't know what I'm saying. They're just great. I
I one
can't
of
say it's typical. They do really good work. They've been on the tour in the past.
Yeah, it one of the things that's really interesting with it is like the ability to shift to your client's needs and your client's
Mhm.
wants and the neighborhood's story and vernacular, and playing with that so that it all fits in. And people are drawn to neighborhoods because of the way they feel. And so
Right.
building off that is really clever. It's fabulous.
I would say that Studio Momentum is really good at putting a house in its context and doing a very good job of making it feel like it belongs in its neighborhood.
Yeah, right. I think this is really exciting, and having the ADU and the house, the house in the house. I was going to say the original house, the main house and the ADU, but they're both actually developed in synergy with each other and on the site. I think that's really, really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. There's maybe one more quick image.
Yeah.
Again, so we have this trend with the bathrooms apparently, but they, again, just beautiful light, natural light coming through. I like the way they had this bathroom designed. I always kind of like the sort of whole separate standing shower situation there, but then the very luxurious tub area there for when you're in the mood for that, and then just again the beautiful sort of just light splashing in there.
Yeah, and notice there's another step-free shower there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
It makes a big difference. What I love particularly, there's a couple of things in this photo that I really love. It's obviously the texture color of the tiles that drags your eye in and makes it, that handmade feel. Amazing light shade, like really cool light shade. And then my actual favorite element is the curtains that block off the bottom of the window that just give the extra level of privacy. But they're very, they feel of the space. They feel of what would have been the age of this house if it had been 100 years ago. So it's a modern journey into an old space, like it's fabulous. Really, really cool. Thank you for tuning into our conversation. I hope it left you both informed and inspired. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen, and please don't hesitate to share your design thoughts with me. It's always a joy to hear from you. If you're like me and crave a deeper dive into design thinking, coupled with a love for travel and adventure, consider one of my architectural adventures. Join me and some of my wonderful design friends and embark on a journey of a lifetime. Apply for an unforgettable design experience at adrianramsey.com. With our clients spanning the globe, I firmly believe behind every great project are great people. If you're a great person and seeking to turn your dream into a reality, I'd be honored to design your home with you. Why not join the ranks of our exceptional clients and let's make your heart sing? Reach out to me at studio@ardesignhouse.com. That's studio@ardesignhouse.com, and let's get a conversation going and make your heart sing.